Oh my gosh. Hey everyone, it's Kat. Today I wanted to share how I plan to romanticize my life using my notebooks. So the inspiration behind this is Ruby Granger's video on the topic, and she's been an inspiration of mine for a long time, and she's a writer, so she talked about writing narratives of her daily life to romanticize it. After watching her videos, I immediately thought about my notebooks, that they would be the perfect medium for myself to express my daydreams. Rather than writing a narrative, I'm opting for scrapbooking and collaging from the tools and stationery that I got recently for my memory keeping journal. And I thought, what better way to capture this if not in a new Hobonichi-inspired cover that came in the mail 2 days ago. I actually ordered this around 3 weeks ago, but I think it just ended up being the most perfect cover to house my experiment in romanticizing my life. So here it is. I've decorated it a little bit. I feel like this notebook cover embodies so much of my childhood joy. I love the patchwork mix of different fabrics, the homemade feel. The pink butterfly really reminds me of my childhood in the 2000s when I used to have a pink My Password journal and I used to write all my secrets in there. It's a lot more maximalist than my usual planners, which are usually leather and have a more simple professional look. But this notebook will have a different function entirely to my current planners. This is really going to cater to my childhood self, and I'm really hoping that the feelings of creativity and childhood wonder inspired by this cover will translate to the contents of my notebook. So Ruby essentially highlights in her video that romanticizing life involves shifting your perspective and turning mundane tasks into narratives that make them feel special. And she encourages us, the viewers, to adopt a mindset that views life as a story worth telling through intention and creativity. So for me, romanticization means envisioning myself in certain moments. That's why I'm drawn to scrapbooking. I've always collected inspiration online, and I would see an image on Pinterest or Instagram and sort of daydream and extrapolate from that image. So I've decided to romanticize a particular dream of mine, which is to go climbing outdoors on a rope on a real mountain somewhere in Yosemite. So I found some photos from Pinterest which really encapsulate what I'm looking for. I found a couple of images which I think really embody the spirit or feeling that I want to get out of sport climbing. And I'm just going to go to my Canon app and print out some of these photos. I will be printing to 6x4 inches, which is a standard photograph size. I'll select photos on my phone. The reason why I chose sport climbing is because romanticization for me works the best for things that I haven't done before, because my imagination can then make it anything I want, and I'm not really held back by things I know to be true in reality. My life now has fewer things that I don't know about compared to my childhood, so I feel like there's less things for me to romanticize. So for example, in primary school, I remember on the first day of history class, the teacher handed out a worksheet that asked us to make a list of questions in history you wanted to know the answer to. So I wrote, I think first was, who was the real King Arthur? Second was, is Atlantis real? But when the teacher came around, he said, you're not supposed to ask that. You're supposed to ask questions about Australian history. Like, what date did Captain Cook land in Australia? Which is so boring. But in time, I learned that actual date, and I learned that Atlantis wasn't real and that King Arthur is also just a legend. So all those things that I used to daydream about, I don't anymore, because now I know that it's not real. So yeah, I feel like I've lost a lot of the magic the more I learn about the world. And it's sort of like that thing that people say, the more humans learnt about the world, the more God retreated. So we used to put God in places that we didn't know about. So we used to think God existed in the heavens, and then we built planes, and then we thought maybe he exists out there in the cosmos, and then we built spaceships. And now heaven and God is just an idea of a place that doesn't have a physical location, but that idea of where it might be is retreating more and more. And for me, it's the same thing with these sort of magical things that I believe in and that I romanticize. They're retreating into places that are unknown to me, but what's unknown to me is becoming smaller and smaller as I get older. But sport climbing outdoors in nature at a terrifying height is something so foreign and scary to me that I'm able to romanticize it. Why I picked Yosemite is actually because I have no idea what America is like, and the only national park I know about is Yosemite. So I picked it, and I know nothing about it. So on this side, I've written some of the words that I think would describe someone who climbs outdoors in Yosemite. So that includes brave, strong, tough, and most of all, someone who's a heroine or a hero, like the books that I used to read as a kid. And so here I've written some of those heroines and heroes that inspired me. Lyra from The Golden Compass, Mosca Mai from a book that I read when I was really young that I don't remember the title of, and then Demon Fields, the protagonist of my current book. And then here I just try to describe what my dream is, climbing on real rock outdoors in Yosemite National Park. I've attached some images of some very strong women climbing. This is the harness that I'm hoping to buy, and here's the climbing shoes that I'm also hoping to buy. And here's just a dog by a campfire, which I thought was the cutest thing ever, so I had to include. So the sun's gone down, and I'm just going to wrap up this video. I hope my dream to go sport climbing in Yosemite comes true one day. In reality, there are many, many steps I need to do first to take me there. I currently boulder, but I need to learn how to lead climb indoors. And then secondly, get good enough, buy the requisite equipment, the ropes, the clips, the helmets, and then find experienced people to go outdoors with, and then save the money to be able to book a flight to America, figure out the accommodation, figure out the routes to climb, etc., etc. But that's, all part of the real world. And for now, I just want to romanticize this dream. So I really wanted to make this video, so thank you for watching and listening to me ramble about this topic. I really hope it inspires you to use your notebooks to romanticize your life a bit more. The notebook I'm currently using, I've been using so far as a memory keeping journal, but I feel like if I could work in also parts of my life I want to romanticize or dreams that I have, I think that's also such a great thing to use this notebook for. If you wanted to know more about the cover I'm using, it's not actually a Hobonichi cover, but it uses fabric from Mina Pohonen, which is a Japanese clothing and textiles brand that Hobonichi collaborates with to release notebook covers. So the seller of this cover is on Etsy, and she buys the Mina Pohonen fabric separately from the notebooks and makes the notebook herself using the fabric. The shipping was really fast, and I can really recommend this store. The seller really kindly customized this cover for me. In the original butterfly cover, I requested this back panel to be swapped out because I didn't really like the oranges in the original cover. And I asked for the back panels of this other cover to be swapped in. And I absolutely adore this new cover. I feel like this part looks like a white rabbit frolicking in the snowy forest, or at least that's how I see it. And this front part reminds me of my childhood in the 2000s with all the hot pink and the butterflies. So in a way, this notebook really is unique and made just for me, which I find to be so special, and I love that. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for my next video. I am trying to consistently upload once a week on Sunday morning for those of you in Australia, and around Saturday evening for those in the US. But thanks for watching. Catch you in my next video. Bye.